Maurice and welcome to Things Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, professional development. For today's video, it is only. The investment topic today would be Ethereum ticker ETH. I know I posted a video at 10 o'clock earlier this morning on the Eastern time period. With respect to my schedule today, my work schedule is relatively flexible. It's kind of freed up this afternoon because I guess people are fleeing to vacations because the US holiday on July 4th coming up. So my schedule for today and tomorrow is going to be relatively freed up a little bit. So I actually spent the bulk of this afternoon just like going out for a run, did a little workout again. So I came back really drenched. So I actually took a shower and my hair is kind of wet right now. So I tied it up. So apologies if I look kind of sloppy right now. But I want to just come back on the camera again to see how's the market dynamic shaking out today. Because I know based on a video earlier today that we are experiencing a little bit more of a sell-off today, right? And with respect to the anti-correlation effect that I see in the equity market. So I just want to quickly come back on to see how we can prep for tomorrow ahead of the weekend affectation, right? Because of Friday and Saturday. Also feel free to drop off if you already saw the video that I posted earlier today, because this will be kind of redundant. This is just more like a recap on how we can be prepping for the weekend ahead. So you probably heard that already in this morning, but if you would stay on, I really appreciate you staying on and spending time with me. Obviously, you guys are truly diligent investors like myself. So I'm gonna take a look at the charts again to see what are the right levels to DCA, right? And how should we be playing out with respect to the upcoming media affectation that we'll be experiencing with respect to the summit that we should be prepping for, a week and a half out from now, right? So stay tuned, stick around, and let's make some money. Alright, so moving on to the technical analysis of Ethereum ticker ETH. I'm recording as of 5:01 p.m. Eastern time right now. It's currently trading around like the $2,127, down about 2.63% at the moment. And just check a look at the equity market real quick. You can see that today's kind of neutral. I know we had some sell-off earlier today, but subsequently rebound from there on a SPY perspective. Also on a NASDAQ perspective, kind of neutral. We're not really doing much, up about 0.13%. So both of the equity market has been kind of neutral so far, right? Despite the 3 consecutive positive days that we've had so far in the equity market. I do foresee some selling pressure tomorrow just because of the safe haven effects that we will be experiencing for both the crypto side, but also with respect to obviously on the equity side as well, right? So let's take a look at the Ethereum real quick. So today was obviously a red day because of the negative media affectation around Jack Dorsey saying no, directly to Ethereum, right? But obviously this is kind of like a dramatized media affectation, inflating, Jack Dorsey as like the maximalist for BTC, obviously ahead of the summit that we'll be experiencing, which will have some percolating type of momentum going forward in the market, right? So I do foresee some buying pressure across the whole crypto market, ahead of the summit, basically 1.5 weeks out from now. So with respect to this weekend, knowing the fact that today was a red day, right? Tomorrow, I do foresee some selling pressure on the equity side. So kind of net, it will anti-correlate onto the crypto side, right? So tomorrow, we might actually have a red day. However, the red day will be relatively neutralized, normalized. I foresee. I don't foresee it's going to be like a major red day, okay? But however, with respect to the durations of the selling pressure that we've seen historically, it durates sometimes around like noon, as the equity markets start to anti-correlate and then subsequently have some drag effect onto the crypto market, and then the drag effects or that the selling momentum will durate from noon on the Eastern time all the way to sometimes around like 5 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. on the Eastern times on Saturday. So that's like the duration of the selling pressure I've seen historically, and then rebound from there as we head on to the Sunday, right? And this is basically what I foresee is going to be happening going forward, right? So how do we DCA from there, right? So knowing the fact that tomorrow we might see some selling pressure, right? Contingent on obviously the anti-correlation effects that we'll see from the equity market, right? The level that we know how to risk mitigate would be the following levels right now, right? So you could see that the current level is definitely a good level to buy in. I think $2,150 is a very substantive level that we've been testing so far, right? And as of today, and I'm keeping tabs historically, right? We've tested this level 17 times so far, okay? So $2,150 level is definitely a good level to dollar cost average for a long-term perspective, right? However, with respect to this weekend, I do foresee that by Friday or Saturday, we might test somewhere around like the $2,050 level, just as a level of cushion that we've tested before, right? Because of the fact that the $2,000 level is such a substantive level, of consolidation, because it's a flat number, right? And also it's a triple digit flat number at the same time, which forms a relatively strong resistance level, right? So I do foresee us like, testing that level, but not ideally cracking through. However, we might hear some like black swan news for some reason on Friday or on Saturday that could kind of change the course of nature of the dynamics of a whole, right? But if you talk about like just a normal course of cadence in terms of like the normal supply and demand dynamics based on just public investors and corporate investors, yeah, $2,050 level would be the bottom that we should be experiencing, the rating between Friday and Saturday. However, based on historical facts, despite last Sunday, we had a pause in meat affectation. The three consecutive Sundays that we've had so far, we were always experiencing some sort of like black swan news that happens, internationally, right? The last one that we had that was a negative news was the Chinese crackdown, right? And that kind of freaked everybody out, right? And then the previous one was the James Bullard article that came out on Sunday, right? So those are kind of curveballs that we were, unforeseen, right? So if we get one of those black swans, sucker punch again, we might test the 1950, right, just to break through the resistance level of $2,000 level, but the level will be relatively sharp. Okay, and we're just like take a look at the MACD perspective right now. You can see that we are forming some sort of a curvature. We are relatively sharp, right? However, we do need to like kind of durate this a little bit longer. So that's why I'm saying like we don't expect to be a major sell-off by like tomorrow or Saturday in a normalized type of cadence, right? We will be testing 2050, kind of hover from there, and that will kind of drag out the MACD line, right, to basically make that comparable to the historical trends that we've had, knowing the fact that RSI needs to cool off a little bit. So I think that will be an optimal level for us to cool off a little bit, excuse me, that we should be going back up by scooping up by Sunday. So that's the play that I foresee, that will be the ideal DCA levels to look out for. So I would be patient and not chase the pump, despite whatever dynamics that we'll be seeing going forward. Just think logically based on what we see in front of us. The resistance levels are always the good levels to dollar cost average. Those are the calculated risk approach that you should be taking, not just buying it based on emotions. So hopefully that's helpful. All right, just to quickly recap on the numbers that we talked about in technical analysis, I think the $2,150, again, right, this is a level that we've tested 17 times so far historically. So it's a very substantive level to dollar cost average. So if you buy now, I wouldn't be surprised that you will subsequently generate some good returns in the near future ahead of the summit, obviously, right? With respect to the attractive level, $2,050 level, that is a possibility that we have a high likelihood that we might be testing there sometimes around like Friday night or Saturday morning, that duration time period that I've talked about, right, the time frame. And with respect to 1950, I think the likelihood would be relatively low because the 2000 is a really hard level that's highly substantive for us to crack down, right? So 1950 would be unlikely. But again, right, Sundays have historically been those black swan days that occur, right? It's either a positive news that is like really positive or really negative, right? And again, the reminder was that the last one was the James Bullard article, and the subsequent before was the Chinese crackdown news that we also heard, right? So obviously macro negative news, right? If we get one of those this Sunday, that will be 1950 will definitely be the level that we'll go to. But the level of rebound will be relatively sharp at the same time. So I will watch out if we get there. Definitely, dollar cost average from there. With respect to corporate adoption, 20%, 9,800. Again, 4.6 times your money from here. That's it for there. Respect my technical analysis on the Ethereum ticket ETH. If you guys actually watched the video all the way up to this point, I really just want to thank you so much, and kudos to you for being such diligent investors and being such studious investors at the same time. I really appreciate the hard work and the work ethics that you guys have. And please, again, if you have any questions on how we should be prepping going forward or anything that was unclear, feel free to ask me again. And please hit the like button, subscribe, and all the bell notification. I will try for the next coming up. Take care. Bye.